today's anatomy lesson is going to be we're going to do some deeper work in the portrait. And so here's what we've got so far for the portrait. We've got a system where we begin with something like this. We put a halfway line in. We double that down. We double that down. Okay? And everybody is doing a really nice job at this. Now, on the coronal plane, which is halfway through this, that comes down and that becomes the back of the jaw. And from here and from here, okay, those become the side planes of the eyes. And you can drop a plane down like this, and then you come down and there's a corner at about the level, about there, and this goes forward, okay? So this goes back. That's the back side of this circle. Just to quickly review, we'll look at that in profile. Okay, now looking at it directly in profile, see, here's the center line, okay? Now the center line is here, but this would be our coronal line, and this is our transverse line, which also gives us the eyes, okay? And this comes down to the jaw. This distance doubles down, okay? Then we go boom, boom, and that gives us the jaw. And this comes up to here. The ear is between this line and this line here. Okay, there's the ear. Oh, sorry. We also cut off. There's this little section here that we cut off. And that little section starts to create depth between this line and that line. Graphically, it starts to create depth, okay? And the jaw comes this way, comes down this way and over, and this goes out to the jaw and up, okay? The neck goes this way, okay? So the ear sits between here and there. And the ear, one easy way to think about the ear is as a kind of question mark shape. You can think of it as a question mark, and later on we'll put a Y into the question mark, okay? Okay, so there is profile. That's 3/4. And now we'll do straight on. Cutting the sides, cutting the sides. That's because this goes to there and this goes to there, okay? And then here, your ears between here and the nose, okay? Okay, so when the skull comes down to here, the next thing that we get is it goes inward like this. It goes inward until it hits the bridge of the nose. So from this line here, there's this shelf inward. And it goes, and here what we see is we see the cheekbone on the other side of it. So it goes inward here until it hits the bridge of the nose. There's the bridge of the nose. There's the bridge of the nose. Okay, the bridge of the nose is a little upside down. It's a little like N-like shape. Here's the brow. This is the brow ridge. And here's its relationship to the cheek. It sits inside. It goes here, and the cheek is right there. Okay, see, here's the cheek. And in this instance, you could see I can foreshorten the plane, and here's the cheek, right like this. You can take it a little further back, and you can do that with it. Okay. Okay. The bottom of the nose is here. Here's the bottom of the nose, okay? The bottom of the nose, there's a lot of different shapes of noses. Let's start out with a triangle with a ball on the end of it, okay? And the back of the nose comes into the face plane. You see how this line, the back of the nose, comes into the face plane, okay? So here, we'll do the circle. And then imagine that here's the shape that I want. When you're looking at it in front view, that's the shape. Those are the shapes that are really important. So it's like this. It's almost like it's almost like this. It's almost like a hinge. Like here's a hinge. And here's one side of the hinge. And there's the other side of the hinge. See here, you'd have little holes to screw it into a wall. So it's almost like that, okay, but sitting sideways on the face. So you've got the bridge of the nose. You run down the bridge of the nose. At the end of the nose, there's the ball of the nose. Off the side of the nose is the side plane. And the side plane goes like this. You could imagine the side plane goes like this. Okay. And now sitting underneath the ball of the nose are the nostrils, right? And the nostrils have this effect. And here, they're like this. It's almost like if you imagine a little bean was set in here. Kind of like this little bean got put in here. Kind of interrupted everything. Imagine that the hinge gets inserted into this little bean, and then underneath the little bean, these two holes are cut out. And that's the nostrils. Right in there. The top plane, you can do this with it. Right there, and that'll settle it into the eye sockets a little nicer. Okay. So all of this in here, you see here is where the underplane starts. All of this in here is the underplane of the nose. And this is the top of that bean, and here's the top of a ball, and up here is the top ridge of a hinge, and over on this side, these are side planes of the nose here. And that kind of gives you the full structure of the nose. So let me draw it more carefully here for you. Okay, so here. Hello. Okay. So the eye socket, you see the eye socket is on a plane going backwards like this, right? So here's this plane going backwards like this. So here the eye socket ends like here, and it comes down like this, and the cheek comes out like this. See, here's the cheek. And the eye socket inserts into the cheek here. It inserts into the cheek. Here's the cheek. Okay, here's my eye socket inserting into the surface of this cheek. Okay, now here's the bridge of the nose, the top of that hinge. Okay, and I can do this to make this easier. I'm going to start out with the little bean that goes underneath the nose. There's the little bean that goes underneath the nose. Okay, and off on this side, here's the side hinge. Now, if it's going to be lit from this side, you know that the top of the nose curls over and around this way, and when we get down to here, there's a big ball, and over the edge of the ball, here's the ball, and over the edge of the ball, that's where we find the nostrils in the bottom plane of the bean. Okay, and here's a big ball on the nose, and I can light that, and over this side it will be in shadow, and underneath the underplane will all be in shadow. Okay, and the nose, the plane of the nose ends in here. Okay. Now I'm going to reinforce it. Here's the nostril. There's the nostril. Okay. Here's the end of the nose, the end of the nostril, right there, coming up along the edge of the bean. Okay. Here's the nose as the plane changes from the eye socket into the plane of the nose. Here's the top, the ridge, that top of the hinge. Okay, here's the bottom of the nose. And now notice I'm going to turn this. The bean was shaped like this. And then when I went back and reinforced it, I went like this. The ball sat over it like this, and then behind the ball, these ellipses form the nostrils. Okay, and all of this and back and around to there, all of that sits in shadow when the light is above. A little darkening, a little darkening. Okay, that's the nose. Now onto the eye. Okay, so the eye socket is built like this. Here's the eye socket, but what you want to do is the eye socket has one plane, two planes, three, and then under it goes one, two. So it goes one, two, three, and then under it goes one, two. Okay, so it goes one, two, three. One, two, three. And all of these top three are sitting on the underplane. So one, two, three. Those are all sitting on the underplane. And then it comes one, two, one, two. So the shape is like this. It goes from the inside of the nose. One, two, three, and then it goes one, two. Okay, so that's the shape of the eye socket. It's a five-sided. Okay, one, two, three, one, two. It's a five-sided shape. Okay, and like these guys should be about the same size because we're looking directly into these eyes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And what happens is there's an eyeball that sits in here, and it's literally a ball. Okay. Here's an eyeball that sits in here. And now you look at the way that it's overlapping the edge there, and here would be the ball that literally there's there's a ball that sits in there, okay? And on the ball is another ball, and on the ball is another ball, okay? Like that. And now the line of, so you go like this, there's the ball that sits in there, and on the ball is another ball, okay? And now the line of the eye is like this. It follows the line of the socket. It goes one, two, three, okay? One, two, okay? And now right here is a wrinkle, and this comes around like this, and then underneath here is another wrinkle, and it comes around here like that. Okay, this part darkens in, and in this case, obviously the ball, the white of the eye has to be bigger. Okay, but so let's draw that into here. I'm sorry, I made the whites of the eyes too small, so I'm just going to make them bigger in here, and then the next move is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. And then up in there where the eyeball ends is a wrinkle, and down here where the eyeball ends is a wrinkle. Okay, and on the inner side of the eye where they come together is one of these. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2. Here's the ball, 1, 2, and you don't see the third one, 1. Okay, here's, darken those guys, darken those guys. Now, because this is all on an underplane, it's all in shadow. You see how all of this will be in shadow? All the eye is in shadow. And right here, that part's in shadow too, okay? So this is all in shadow. This is all in shadow. This is all in shadow. Here's the nose in 3/4. So here's the bean. It sits right here. And here's the ball. Now this time, because it's in 3/4, see where the ball is sitting? And there's the nostril. And here's the top of the hinge. And there's the bottom of the hinge, and here's the bottom of the hinge on the other side. Let me show a little bit of the underside there. All right, on to the lips. So the lips sit, so wait a second, one more thing. So this would darken, okay? This would darken. The eyebrow sits right here, right on this edge. So you can pop an eyebrow right onto this edge, right onto this edge, and you can make it as expressive as you want. You see if I move it above the edge, and then you don't have to show the sockets quite so intensely. I'm just doing that for teaching purpose so that you know where they are. The shadow really begins inside of there, but you don't need an outline showing it. And this shadow in here can get really nice and deep. It can very frequently be like an area of occlusion. Okay, and on the under plane of the eye can be really nice and dark. Okay, and then you can do whatever you want with the eyebrows, and that really affects the expression, the eyebrows, and the raising and lowering of the. And I'm going to show you the lips, and then we're going to call it. Okay. Oh, we'll do the ears on another day. So the lip goes like this. One of the things. So the lip starts, for starters. What you need to do is, it's halfway between here and here. And then this is the part that used to kind of throw me. Halfway between here and here is not the middle of the lips. That's the bottom lip, okay? And so here is coming up 1, 2. So it's halfway down, gets you to the bottom of the lower lip. Now, a thing to know is that there's a structure in here that comes forward and then dips into the chin like that. It comes out. And so here it comes out and over and out and down, okay? And here it's really hard to see it. And the mouth, here's the width of the mouth. Okay, the top of the mouth, very frequently thought of as kind of a little M-like shape. The bottom of the mouth, very frequently thought of as a little W-like shape. You see that little W? There's a little M, there's a little W. And right in the middle, it has this little piece that kind of overlaps like this. Okay, and the corners of the mouth, there's a little notch right there. Okay. And now as we see them in side plane, you can see that the top lip goes inward and the bottom lip goes out like this, and it comes over, and here's that little mark. Okay, here's the top. You can see the underside of the top plane, and you see okay, so here, now underneath the lips, this is really cool. The lips kind of push outward. Like I've seen the lips described as a shape like this, like sitting on a shape like this. Right, where the bottom of the lips end up in shadow and the top of the lips end up in light. What's important to me is that the lips underneath the lip here, there's a shadow right in here before it cuts out to the chin, and that on the sides it comes around. So it's like there's this shape over here like this big muscle shape down here, and right in there it's really shady. Over the corner of the mouth is this like circle, and right here the face changes direction to move into the lips. Like right here, the face is going downward, and then right there it changes direction and goes into the shape that becomes the lips. Very frequently, if the light is an overhead light, very frequently this lip is in shadow and it's darkened. Okay? One thing, another little feature to pay attention to, well, so you see how we've got the cheeks sculpted here? If the light is coming from this direction, this is a plane change, and over here moves into shadow. For right now, we'll just use the ears as planes, right? You can just start with that like this, okay? And we'll do hairline and ears in our next tomorrow, okay? In our next tomorrow. And this line comes over. All of the little shapes of the face now can be reinforced with cross contour lines, made stronger, made weaker where necessary. One thing that happens right here is, you see these? There's like the shape of the bone is kind of like that, and there's an underside to the bone, and it throws a big shadow, and then these have kind of an overside, and there will be like a little shadow right in there before it gets to the top of the head. So it's like there's this shape like this in here, like a little butterfly, and it has an underside, and then here's the overside. And it's a really expressive moment. The eyebrows kind of crawl across it. All right. I think that's good foundation for face drawing.